What's up, guys? So people keep asking me, yo, Blam, what are the best units to grind for? And I'm gonna be honest, that was a little bit tough until today, because if you guys don't know, they completely are redoing a lot of units damage, and it kind of makes things complicated of what to recommend. So today I'm going to be doing just that. We're going to be going over the best damage units in Anime Last Stand based off of total DPS. And of course, guys, watch the whole video because each unit has its own little caveats and situations where it's really good. And I also got 2 new codes as well. But before we hop into those, guys, remember we are on the road to 1 million subscribers. We are getting very close. We're trying to hit it before May, and that will unlock the 1 million Robux giveaway. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to give away like 10,000 Robux to like 100 people or something crazy like that. So, or maybe like 1,000 to 1,000 people. I don't know. It's going to be wild, guys, and there's going to be a high chance of you winning. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. All right, let's go enter in these codes. I want to give a big shout out to my man, Borrow. My man sent me these codes, so let's go test them out here. First up, we got Esper is mid, 7 technique shards, and then we got code the ultimate OP. All right, we got 7 technique shards there as well. Not bad. All right, let's go take a look at the new best damage units, and I bring a few special ones I wanted to mention in my inventory. So let's get it started. All right, here we go, guys. Let's get it started, and let's get it started with number 25, guys. You may be asking, Blam, why are we starting at number 25? Well, the answer to that question is simple. It's the new Rias upgrade, guys. And not only does she have some very high DPS with no weird, crazy passives, I'll talk about why that matters later, but also has AoE full and stun. Wow, guys, really insane damage. And slightly below, we have some interesting units, guys. So I want to briefly cover these. Look at this, guys. Wukong is down there at number 29, guys. Why are all these godlies so low? The reason is they are buffing the godlies. They did announce it, guys. So all godlies are getting a buff very soon. Keep that in mind. And then we have Ainz, guys. Dang, I didn't realize Ainz is only number 27, but yeah. The nice thing about him, though, is he's AoE full, so and that's not too bad. So number 24, we have another one of the new units, guys, Mitsuri. All right, she's a full AoE hybrid with hemorrhage. Not bad at all. All right, number 23, we have Broly. Now, I do have Broly, but we'll just go over him quickly. He has that weird rage thing. However, he is crippled, which is kind of nice. And his passive is also pretty good as well. Next up, we have Sanji. The nice thing about Sanji is he's a good fire unit, and he also buffs Escanor, but you guys can see Escanor is kind of low on this list. So we'll see if there's any other better fire units. But so far, Sanji's the best fire unit on this list. Full AoE hybrid, yes, guys, and Blue Flames. I believe he's the only Blue Flames units I've ever seen, so... All right, working on the light units, we have Naruto Pass. Some pretty good AoE DPS. However, he's only AoE Circle, which kind of sucks. And then next up, we got a couple of the newer units, guys. We have from the Fate update, which is kind of old, AoE Circle, but you're going to see that, guys. You may see some units be very low down here, but that's because they're AoE full. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about AoE DPS later, because that's kind of important. But for now, we have 2 of the newer units. Pirate King, guys, he's down in the tournament shop. 56.87 million with full AoE, so he's one of the better light units in the game, and he is poison, conquered, and stun. Really strong unit right there. All right, Flash Goddess is another very strong one. However, she's circle with Bolt. Bolt's very OP. Aizen somehow still is on this list, guys. 4.26 billion. However, that's after his passive, which takes forever to go through. So he's more of a infinite mode only unit. All right. Next up, we have Zoro and Fallen One. Fallen One's an old unit that got buffed, so you check her inventory, you might have her. But look at that, guys. Half AoE, so good AoE and good damage. Zoro has a nice cone as well. But you can see their AoE DPS damage is kind of low, so keep that in mind. All right, next up, we got a couple of the newer ones. We have Dragon King and Goku. So this is if you have Gohan's passive, then he gets this good. If you don't have Gohan's passive, he's not that good. And then Dragon King, 61 million with AoE cone. So that's the one thing about these guys is they have that weirder AoEs, so not always the best. All right, next up, we have a couple of the newer units as well. Bombi and Thorn Queen from the Valentine's Day. You guys can see their DPS is very good, but their AoE circle, which is a bit unfortunate. However, I will say Thorn Queen does have weaken, which might be good. However, there's another unit here that might make that better. And you guys can kind of see Bombi is pretty high on this list. However, Sanji might be better because look at this, guys. AoE circle or AoE full. Which one do you want? Let's be honest. All right, next up, we have one of the newer units, Sung Jin Woo. Now, I'm pretty sure this does count all of his enemies, like all of his summons. But if not, I did bring him. So we should be able to figure that out real quick. So Sung Jin-woo is still on this list. He might be like the most highly recommended godly. Him and Luffy are pretty good. But you guys can see his damage gets pretty up there. And of course, he has all of his random commanders. So factoring in, I believe that means he's factoring all that in. I don't know if this is just Sung Jin-woo. But you guys can kind of see his DPS already gets pretty crazy. So very strong unit, guys. And of course, once you factor in all these guys' DPSs, like it gets pretty insane. All right, here's a cool one that I do recommend you guys take a look at. Yuta. He's kind of hard to get nowadays, but if you got him through trading, look at that, guys. He's now up to 70 million with a nice, pretty good AoE cone. Definitely a good boss killer unit with Black Spark. I believe that's a new effect. So he's one of the better light units. And then Luffy Sun God. Yes, guys, he's actually this high on the list. However, he does have that AoE circle. So AoE circle is not always the best, so keep that in mind. All right, she's another one of the new units. I believe she's like really one of the better nature units, guys. AoE line though. So Pirate King and Cursed Child, once you get their passives popping, look at that damage, guys. Absolutely crazy. And then this guy right here is a pretty interesting character, guys. Pirate King. I mean, a green beast inner with the passive. You can see how crazy this damage is. However, I will say the passive does come with some consequences. He is unsellable. And if we read the thingy, let's just say every wave he gets bonus damage. So after you factor all that in, then you can use his final passive. Last resort, he buffs his damage by 150%. And he attacks faster. So he goes from 55 million. Look at that, guys. The damage goes absolutely insane. And that's before he's rage bonus. But it's the problem with it is he's kind of like, it's like a one-time burst because he can't attack for like the next freaking millennia, which is crazy. All right, next up we have one of the newer units, guys, Time Goddess. I believe this is with her DPS passive thingy. She's actually really insane, guys. If you don't know, she can basically do everything in the game. So she can like DPS, look at that, guys, goes absolutely hard, or she can buff, etc. And she does have a lot of cool little quirks as well. So she's actually pretty crazy. So definitely a highly recommended unit. And of course, she does have that, when she buy her last upgrade, she has a 90-second time stop. So overall, a pretty strong unit. And number one, guys, is actually Usopp. However, I have another unit I want to talk about in a second. Infinite range, 100% crit chance. Look at that DPS, guys. Crazy. Now look at that AoE DPS. Terrible. He only hits one unit, but look at that, guys. He's doing dramatically more damage. So he might be a good boss killer besides Nuke. Now let's look at this AoE DPS list. I don't think there's a way to sort by AoE DPS, unfortunately. But you guys can kind of... Oh, wait, it might be over here. That is... Yeah, here we go, guys. Sorted by AoE DPS. Look at this. Time Goddess is full AoE. That's pretty insane. Ainz is also full AoE. Yamamoto is pretty good as well. These are all the full AoE units. So these units might have less like normal DPS, but if you factor in their AoEs, they're very good. So keep that in mind as well. And this guy is so good. He's still in the chart, even with line AoE, which is crazy. Now, unit I wanted to mention is Giorno. Giorno's actually on this. However, he does a percentage damage, which is very OP, guys. You always want that percentage damage. So he actually can theoretically do infinite damage. Look at this, 1% damage per hit. So you want to basically get him as fast SPA as humanly possible and just let him rip. And hopefully I need to get a better thing on him, but like some sort of SPA enchant or something. It'll go crazy. Now there is another thing we can factor in, guys. All techniques and enchants. Look at this, guys. So if you have all techniques, 237 with mystical, absolutely crazy. All right, but you guys can see Usopp is basically carrying this entire list. Yeah, guys, Usopp, his DPS goes hard. Same with Time Goddess. You can see they're basically, those two are just covering the whole list up. Like, look how crazy that is. Like, dang near, like, all the top ones are by them. Sung Jin-woo is another one to note, as well as Yuta. So those are kind of like some units I would grind for if you can. Sung Jin-woo and Luffy are definitely the godlies you want to get. They're a little bit harder to get, but get them if you can. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and big shout out to the whole tier list team for like making this tier list and reworking it, because I used to love making videos on this tier list. There's so much good stuff here. If you guys want me to make a normal tier list, let me know down below. And we also are getting the OPM update soon this weekend, so I'll keep you guys posted on the OPM update. Catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's get to 1 million.